What is going on, guys? It's Tova back again with another weekly tarot reading. So today we're going to be using the Tarot of a Forest Witch deck, which I will put a link to this in the description. And for our clarifier, we're going to use the Orion's Animal Tarot, which this is the size that comes in the tin, but I honestly don't like tins very much. So I have this cute little starry purple bag, and I'll typically put this deck in here instead. So we're going to clarify with that, and then, of course, we got the creator cards, and let me get my Astro Dice really quick. Okay, I've rescued the Astro Dice, and I figure doing charms last week was pretty fun, so we can throw some charms on our cards as well. So let me get everything situated here. First of all, I want to just kind of do a little profiling here of this deck. This is by Wildera Art, somebody that I've been a fan of for a long time, since like probably 2020 or 2021. It took me a while to be like, okay, I need to just go ahead and buy this deck. I think this was like the first edition or something like that. Maybe what I meant to say was it took me a while to actually buy something from this person for some reason. And then whenever I saw that this deck was available, I was like, yeah, I need to get this. So I'm not sure how it was printed or where it was printed or who did the printing, but the cardstock is really nice. This is kind of just like the title card. This is a little sticker that was included that I haven't put on anything. I'm actually really bad about putting stickers on things. This is a little handwritten note, and I'm not going to open it because it is a little personal, and it does have my government name on it. Yeah, it shuffles really good. The size is really good. The artwork is beautiful, of course. It also came with a little wooden, like a little wooden disc thing that has a little piece of artwork on it. I've silenced the machine so it will no longer interrupt us. Okay, so let me try not to breathe into the mic in this video because I had a little bit of a problem with that last time because I was putting my head on the right side of the phone, which is where I have the microphone side of the phone, or I honestly don't know. I'm not going to know until I edit this. We shall see. But I'm going to do my best to keep my face away from the mic. So maybe we can do something like this, and I'll shuffle over here. All right. Whoop. Okay, so the first card that I'm seeing is the Death card, and then the Knight of Cups. So some kind of a change in the way that we express our emotions, or some sort of a change is coming this week in the way that we show up emotionally, or the way that we bring our emotional state out into the world or into our relationships with other people. We'll obviously clarify that here in a moment. I'm wondering how deep of a change that is and how external that actually is, because it could be more of an internal journey. I've really been feeling that, especially with this lunar eclipse coming up. This has been the craziest eclipse portal ever, by the way. Let's get our column 2. Oh. Okay, so there's 3 here. So we got the 3 of Pentacles. Pentacles are acorns in this deck. Mushrooms is cups, by the way. I got the Devil card, and then the King of Pentacles. It's important to know the difference between thinking that you can do everything on your own and just being like, no one's allowed to help me, no one's allowed to even be in the room with me while I'm working on this. It's like I'm getting the image of just like having a bunch of stuff and like being really enthralled in like some kind of an action regarding that stuff or a project or something. And then somebody comes in and is like, hey, is there anything I can do to help you? And then you're just being like, no. But secretly you actually do want help. Let's see what's going on with our column 3. What is going on this week? This encompasses that lunar eclipse in Pisces. energy as well. Consider this your eclipse reading. I feel this one wanted to come out. Which I don't usually do that. I usually wait until they jump out, but this one seemed like it wanted to come out. Let's see what it is. Okay. It is the Page of Wands. The driving force for us this week is going to be where we feel like our spirited, naive impulses are kind of taking us toward. And I think it's important that we listen to that. I do kind of want to grab another card. Six of Swords there on the bottom of the deck. It's kind of telling me that this is an overall message of... Whoops. Okay. Overall message of we're moving away from like mental anguish. We're moving away from thought patterns and ways of thinking that have been keeping us in a state of not wanting to live our lives the way that we actually want to live them. So let's see what this is. So here's the Eight of Wands. So that kind of confirms for me that it's really a driving force. I'm getting to listen to like sort of a whimsical... I'm getting the word spirited. Spirited, you know? Judgment on the bottom here for our final bottom of the deck. Two of Cups under that, bringing your relationship stuff back in. The Moon. So the Moon card is where we feel like maybe we're on sort of a journey that we can't even fully control what's going on. And it's almost like we're in a dream world where nothing is fully making sense. Things are kind of chaotic and strange, but it still feels fated. It still feels like we're being guided in some way on like an important fantastical journey is kind of the way that I've been seeing the Moon card recently. And it's kind of like being spirited away, you know? That's the vibe that I'm getting off of that. With this Judgment card, I've been feeling this week very strongly that it's quote-unquote put up or shut up time. This whole eclipse portal has been a very important checkpoint that's asking you to stop with the constant back and forth in your mind, trying to figure out if it's safe to move forward with something, if you're going to be okay, trying to look for certainty, and just deciding, like, I'm going to do this whether I fail or not. And I think that this kind of confirms that. And I do feel like the relationship aspect of this is that we need to remember that other people can, you know, like this column is talking about, like, we need to remember that other people can actually help us. Other people are not as, like, scary as you might think. Having like friendships, or if you're running a business, like customers, clients, it's not a situation where those people are the enemy. And if you've worked in the service industry and you've dealt with like customers where they're trying to get food or a retail item from you, and they're really entitled and they just think that you're there to, you know, I mean, in a way you are there to serve them, but it's like, that's the only thing you're good for. You can start thinking about customers and clients as being the enemy inherently, and they're not, you know, especially if you position yourself in a certain way where you're offering a service that has like a genuine, authentic drive behind it, that's coming from a place of like true joy also. I think that it's a lot easier to approach business owner client relationships as being mutual exchange and not somebody just taking something from you. So that's kind of how I was feeling about the Two of Cups there. Okay, so let's clarify this Death card, Knight of Cups. This is what's changing regarding the way that we're showing up emotionally. Okay, looks like we got two cards. The Ten of Pentacles. Wow, okay. And the Six of Swords. Okay, all right. So remember when I saw the Six of Swords earlier? Here, I'll get these a little more focused so you guys can see. It looks like we got an anglerfish and we got a blue whale. I like this deck because it has like these sort of space nebula elements to it. And I feel like this artwork is like not like super complicated, but it's at least interesting and the colors are really good in this deck. And I don't know if you noticed, but the rainbow silver gilded edges are like spectacular. So what's going on with this change of our emotional sort of landscape and the way that we're showing up, let me refocus there, is that we are dealing with this scarcity mindset thing, and we are making the decision to acknowledge the negative thoughts around, oh, what about my security? What about my sense of having my life figured out or having a legacy that I'm leaving behind? And we're deciding that we're going to just jump in and we're just going to play. Like there's an otter on this card. So we're deciding to play instead of focusing on this worry that really isn't helping at all and has never been helpful. Like if you think back to the times that you've been really anxious about money or whatever, when has that ever helped you besides maybe pushing you to take action toward figuring out your financial situation? I am going to warn you guys really quick. My cat is starting to meow at me. So she might start meowing. So if you hear meowing in the background, it's because she doesn't like that I've been recording a video for about 15 minutes. She's going to start meowing. So, but I'm just going to let her meow so I can focus on what I'm saying. So if you hear meowing, that's just my cat. I feel that this is a big change to the way that we're dealing with this Chiron and Taurus energy. And it's going to be in Taurus for like a while, but we're going to be steeped in this energy for a long time. And I think it's pretty cool and pretty powerful that we are being brought to a place where we're allowed to choose how we want to approach that level of insecurity. So let's check out this Three of Pentacles, Devil, King of Pentacles situation. Oh, okay. The Emperor, the Two of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the Star. Okay. This might actually mean something slightly different than what I originally thought, because all of these cards are kind of pointing to the idea that we do have everything under control and we are building something actively, sort of despite this devil energy going against that self-sabotaging behavior. I've been getting this feeling recently that we're all being shown a part of our lives right now where a door is opening that's actually really beautiful. And when I'm looking at this Star card, and honestly this Ace of Swords too, it's like there's a beautiful truth that is being unveiled about our capability to create the life that we desire. And I think that really lines up in a nice way with the astrology. And we might feel like some of us are in a place where we're sort of stuck in the planning still. But I think it's important to recognize that we do have authority. We do have the ability to call the shots and actually direct these other people in our life who want to help us in certain ways where, in a kind way, of course, in a way where they can help us in the way that we need at this time. All right, so let's see what's going on with this Page of Wands and Eight of Wands. 10 of Cups and 6 of Pentacles. Okay, we're feeling really emotionally fulfilled in that we have the ability to give of ourselves in like this very pure, spirited way to other people. A lot of people see the Six of Pentacles as being oh, well, there's strings attached. But to me, that still feels like a customer-client relationship almost, or a situation where you enter into an agreement with someone and maybe you're still giving of yourself in a really authentic and positive way. However, that person still needs to hold up their end of the bargain in some way. And I don't necessarily think that that's negative. I think that a lot of people automatically assume that that's negative, but I really don't see it that way. And the Ten of Cups being here is great because that just confirms to me that this Page of Wands is just ushering in with the Eight of Wands a really aligned and beautiful expression of the self. Maybe in a way that you haven't felt since you were kind of young, or I'm getting like in like a teenager or something like that. It's about to be fall time finally, and I don't know about you guys, but whenever the temps start to get a little bit cooler in the mornings and in the evenings in the late summer, I just get this feeling of like, oh, finally, like I can feel the power of my soul like returning back to me. We've got the King of Swords on the bottom, Page of Wands again, and the Nine of Wands. So there's a level of perseverance that's required like long term for this to work out, and I think that aligns with the eclipse energy. And with the King of Swords, you need to be decisive. You need to be in control of your mental landscape so that when you're making decisions, you're not being like, oh, I hope this works. I think the best energy to be in right now is, okay, I've decided this. I've researched this. I know exactly how this is going to work. Maybe it won't go exactly the way that I've planned, but I can't control that and I accept that. That's the kind of energy to be in right now. Like a very positive, well-researched, I want to say, King of Swords energy. So I'm just going to kind of spread these around a little bit. My cat is in the room with us right now, and she's acting like she wants to do mischief. I think we actually need to do the creator cards first. So let's get us a creator card. Hopefully just one. Okay. We did just get one. Are you a victim or a creator? So some of us are still in this victim mindset, thinking that life is happening to us instead of for us. Some of us are still seeing setbacks and confusion and moments of self-doubt as being a punishment. And I really think that we need to stop thinking that way, and we need to realign with the truth, which is that anything that happens is trying to show you something that is for your highest good. It can be easy to look around you at all the reasons for why your life is not going like you want it to. It's easy to point to the others who seem to be responsible for your bad luck, to the systems that hold you down, to the parents who gave you a poor start, to all the circumstances beyond your control. However, the true creator looks within, knowing that every experience in his life is self-created and self-chosen. Open your heart to the bigger perspective and allow yourself to receive the gift in each of your experiences. Then the difficult and painful things will lose their significance, and you won't need to keep creating more of them for yourself. When you no longer see yourself as a victim to anyone, even to yourself, you will be a true creator. So that instantly reminded me of an Eckhart Tolle quote, and I'm trying to remember how it goes. It's something like, from this point on, I will not create any more problems for myself, or something like that. I'll put it up on the screen. Something about not creating any more problems for yourself. So let's do the charm bag. Alright, what's going on this week? So the Ten of Pentacles energy is something that we're taking action on. This little match thing, this is my Ace of Wands. We did get two big heart things. We're doing it for the love of the game. We're doing it for the connection with other people. We're doing it for the love that we think we deserve, is what I'm getting. The little one's upside down on the death card. The big one is kind of facing this way on the Emperor. This is a very old leaf necklace that I got from a friend when I was in high school. And this really reminds me of this Page of Wands, sort of spirited energy. It's kind of up here at like the pinnacle of the reading, right above this middle card. I feel like it's almost like our North Star, like our guiding light, is what actually makes you feel excited to create in your life. Whenever I remember this thing, I always think about how when I was a teenager, I felt really secure in my personal identity. And I felt like I was always being guided by something outside of me, even though I had no really religious or spiritual inclinations per se. But I still felt like I had this really powerful inherent relationship with the universe or with spirit or whatever. And that it would speak to me through nature. It would speak to me through the way that the sun came through the clouds in the morning. It would speak to me in the random gust of wind, seeing an animal, or some kind of like synchronicity like that came through nature. So maybe it's a message of it's okay to remember, I want to say, who you are before the world taught you that you have to act a certain way that's hard or closed off or not connected to, I don't know why I want to say this, but the deeper structural spiritual self. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm kind of seeing like a blueprint or a base code or base machinery or something like that, like a computer motherboard or something like that. It feels like that's coming back online. Like that's getting plugged back in. Like somebody's like soldering it so that you can increase that field of awareness again that maybe you lost. A lot of good information in that charm. So this is interesting to me because this is my agreement nickel. It's a bit of a handshake on there. Louisiana Purchase. That was kind of upside down, but it still flipped up like this and wasn't on the head side. It was on the tail side. And then this little star was on top of it like this. So I feel like that is choosing to enter into this agreement that you're not going to cling to this victim mindset anymore. I think that if anyone watching was trying to decide what to let go of during this time, it's gotta be, I am no longer going to identify with being a victim in my life. I am no longer going to identify with this, oh, woe is me, nothing ever works out for me mindset. That doesn't mean it's going to go away. It's really important to recognize that that does not mean that it's going to go away. That means that when it shows up, you are going to consciously pause and think, okay, I acknowledge that this is here. However, I'm not going to let it derail me from what I'm trying to accomplish. Because what the ego does is it tries to get you off the path of wherever you're trying to go because it thinks that it's trying to protect you from harm. This is totally normal and fine. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. We all go through it. Learning how to be like a fully actualized, conscious being in your life means that you need to remember, okay, I do have the ability to stop myself from just automatically identifying with whatever my ego is saying to me and remember that I'm consciously creating my life and that I am allowed to feel good about where I'm at in my life, even if the facts don't all line up. Even if maybe somebody else would say, oh, you're being irresponsible. Even if there's this voice in my head that's screaming like, you suck and like everything you're doing is stupid and you're never going to make it. I can say, okay, I understand that you're trying to protect me right now. I understand that you're trying to make sure that I don't do something that is going to harm my physical form. But your concern is misplaced, actually. And I appreciate it. However, why don't you just trust me that what we're doing is good, what we're doing makes sense, even if there's no proof yet. That's where this sort of like feeling of trust with the star energy is kind of coming in my opinion. I was at an event, I guess you could call it an event. It was like an impromptu meetup with some of my pals from this divination share group, because the shop that we usually go to for the divination share, they had like a fire and they had to move a bunch of stuff around in the store, and they have effectively put divination share on hold for an unknown amount of time. So what we've been doing is just meeting up on our own, which is cool. And last month I was like kind of deep in a emotional thing, so I didn't go and hang out with them, but this month I went and it was great. And one of the readings that I did involved the star card. Here, let me just show you. So in that reading, I used my universal weight deck, and it was actually a reading where I just wanted to try reading with only one deck and see how deep I could go into the meaning. And the star card, when I looked at this during that reading, the main thing that I was focusing on was actually the landscape and just how like abundant it is. And I got the message to tell my friend who I was reading for that there is a landscape being created around us to facilitate this very important collective growth. I truly feel like it's not going to look like it's just appearing like some kind of magical gift from the universe, but that it's a landscape in our sort of spiritual being that is slowly coming together and sort of being, I'm getting the image of like being molded like clay for us to be able to have an environment where we can do this important work of tending to our spiritual, emotional water. I just hit my thingy. Emotional, I want to almost say vitality. Tending to the vitality. So that's kind of an interesting message that I got. So let's do the Astro Dice right quick, and then we will head on out. I don't know if I just want to say really quick, I don't know if I'm going to be getting my full moon eclipse video out today. It might actually be tomorrow, because I have a bunch of stuff coming in the mail today for some products that I'm making, which at some point they're going to be available for purchase on my website, but I'm doing like a live like craft market first. There's going to be jewelry, there's going to be crystals, there's going to be witchcraft supplies. I'm making ritual kits for making your own spell jar. So stay tuned for that stuff, but I'm so excited about getting started that like the second that my stuff gets here, I'm immediately just going to like start making things because I'm so excited. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a second video today, so that might have to be tomorrow, but by the time the eclipse is happening on Wednesday, you will have a video to go along with it. So, all right, let's see what's going on this week with the Astro Dice. If we get Virgo again, I'm going to be like, bruh. What is with the Virgo energy? But I'm an Aries, so Virgo energy kind of, that's a quincunx, you know what I'm saying? That's a frustrating need for adjustment. But my Jupiter is in Virgo, so, but it's retrograde, so. We did not get Virgo, so, but we did get the 6th house. South Node. Libra. Capricorn being the solution. So there's a way that we're conducting ourselves, and this kind of ties into some of the relational aspects going on in here. There's an old way, some kind of an old routine in the way that we interact relationally with people is being purged. And the purpose of this is so that we can step into our full power as creator beings. That we can step into our full power as people who build the future. I don't know what generations are watching this video, but if you're a millennial, if you're Gen Z, you know that we were not raised with any kind of sense of direction. Our parents were like, okay, yeah, you need to do this life milestone and then this one and this one and this one, and then you're going to be fine. And what we want is a lot deeper than that, a lot more powerful than that, things that our parents didn't even recognize that they had access to. And I think that that's because we are actually a little more evolved in our generations than our parents were. And obviously there's exceptions to that, but I'm talking like an overall thing, like an overall generational thing. I think that as we're continuing into the future, some of us, if you guys know about, what is it called? The fourth turning, the turnings or whatever. I forget what exactly they're called. I'll put it up on the screen again. I'll put on the screen what I'm talking about. The fourth turning. There's like a book or a website or something that you can learn more about it. But it talks about how the generations kind of fit like a specific role in this cyclical unfolding of civilization. And it's really interesting. If that sort of strikes your fancy, I would definitely check that out. I think that right now, astrologically, we are in a place where us younger generations, and I mean us millennials are getting a bit older, things are happening at the right time where we're finally having these alignments where things are just clicking into place. And we're finally building the scaffolding to create, this is going to sound so silly, but the new world. A new earth, if you will, for your Eckhart Tolle tie-in again. So I think that's a pretty comprehensive look at what to expect. The ways that we interact with people are changing in a positive way. The ways that we relate to ourselves is changing in a positive way. I think that if I look at this whole spread, the main thing that draws my eye is this leaf charm, where I talked about the power that comes from remembering who we are. If you are a Therian and you're watching this, first of all, say in the comments that you're a Therian and you're watching this, because I don't know if anybody who watched my videos back in like 2018 is still here and still watching, but if you are, just say hi in the comments. But if you're a Therian and you're watching this, to me, this is screaming reconnect with your Theriotype. Reconnect with your Theriotype in the way that when you were a kid, what did you do? What did you automatically do? I'm sort of getting the vibe of like being outside and feeling the wind blowing in your face. Mental and sensory shifting, and just kind of being transported to this place of calm. This place of like total and complete calm and serenity, in which you feel held and protected by nature, by the universe, by yourself, by your Theriotype identity, your core animal being. I'm getting the message to say reconnect with that this week. Remember who you are this week, because that is the seed that when planted is going to help you grow into this place where you feel secure, where you feel like the things that are inherent to your being, you have that to offer the world. This is a week where we're done focusing on the negativity, the scarcity, what happened to us in the past that harmed us in some way or was embarrassing or stuff like that. I started going off on several tangents, but I think I'm just going to wrap this up. Stay tuned for the full moon video tomorrow, and I hope this reading helped. Please like the video if you watched this and thought that it was at all helpful. If you're watching, please leave a comment so I know you're there. And if you haven't followed my Instagram already, if you're an Instagram user, please do so. I'm a little more active over there than I am here. And there's updates over there about like my products and stuff that I'm making. And I think that's it for now. All right. I will see you guys on the next one. Happy full moon eclipse.